7 Pokemon that look broken but are actually trash. 1. Slaking. Slaking is the ultimate catfish of Pokemon. When you first see its stats, your jaw drops. This thing has a base stat total of 670. That's the same as Groudon and Kyogre. Its attack stat sits at 160, which is absolutely insane. It's got 150 HP, making it super tanky. Even its speed is decent at 100. On paper, Slaking should be destroying everything in its path and dominating competitive battles. But here's the thing, Slaking has one of the worst abilities in the entire game, Truant. This ability forces Slaking to loaf around every other turn, doing absolutely nothing. Yeah, you read that right. This powerhouse of a Pokemon literally takes a nap half the time you're trying to use it. In practice, this makes Slaking almost unplayable. Your opponent knows exactly when Slaking can't move, so they'll either set up, switch to a counter, or just protect on the turns you can attack. Even worse, they can use moves like Substitute or boost their stats while Slaking's taking its mandatory break. Some trainers try to get around this with skill swap strategies or pairing it with Regigigas to change abilities, but that requires so much setup that it's rarely worth it. What makes this even more painful is that without Truant, Slaking would legitimately be one of the best Pokemon ever made. But Game Freak knew that, so they slapped this horrible ability on it. The result? A legendary tier stat monster that's stuck in the lower tiers because it's literally too lazy to fight properly. 2. Regigigas. Speaking of wasted potential, let's talk about Regigigas. This is supposed to be the master of all the Regis, the legendary titan that moved continents. Its base stats total 670, matching other major legendaries. It's got 160 attack, 110 HP, and solid defensive stats. By all accounts, this should be a restricted legendary that's banned from most tournaments. But nope, Regigigas got hit with slow start, which might be even worse than Truant. For the first 5 turns Regigigas is on the field, its attack and speed are cut in half. That means this continental titan hits like a wet noodle and moves like it's stuck in molasses for basically the entire battle. 5 turns is an eternity in Pokemon. Most battles don't even last that long, and if Regigigas switches out, the counter resets. Your opponent has 5 whole turns to either knock it out, set up their own sweepers, or just stall with status moves. By the time slow start wears off, if it ever does, the battle's probably already decided. The worst part is that even when slow start finally ends, Regigigas is just good. Not game breaking, just good. All that waiting for a Pokemon that's strong but not even overpowered, it's like waiting in line for 3 hours at a theme park for a ride that lasts 30 seconds. The payoff just isn't worth the setup. 3. Archeops. Archeops looks incredible at first glance. This prehistoric bird has 567 base stats, with an absurd 140 attack and 110 speed. It gets access to moves like Stone Edge, Earthquake, and U-Turn. Its offensive stats are so good that it should be sweeping entire teams. Plus, it's a fossil Pokemon, which automatically makes it cooler. Then you notice its ability, Defeatist. Once Archeops drops below 50% HP, its attack and special attack get cut in half. Just like that, your 140 attack drops to a pathetic 70. Your powerhouse sweeper turns into dead weight the moment it takes any real damage. This wouldn't be so bad if Archeops had good defensive stats, but it doesn't. With 75 HP and 65 defense, Archeops is made of paper. Priority moves, Stealth Rock, or basically any decent hit will trigger Defeatist, and once that happens, Archeops becomes almost useless. It can't hit hard enough to threaten anything, but it's still too fast to just let die for a free switch. The cruel irony is that Archeops has the perfect stat distribution for a glass cannon sweeper, except its ability punishes it for being exactly that. It's like giving someone a sports car but making the engine shut off if they go over 50 miles per hour. What's even the point? 4. Wishiwashi School Form. This one's especially deceiving. When you see Wishiwashi's School Form, it's got a massive 620 base stat total. That's pseudo-legendary territory. Its attack and special attack both hit 140, with great defensive stats too. You'd think this little fish that calls its friends would be a serious threat. But here's the catch. Wishiwashi only stays in school form above 25% HP. The moment it drops below that threshold, it transforms back to its pathetic solo form. And when I say pathetic, I mean it. Solo form Wishiwashi has a base stat total of 175. That's lower than Magikarp. Its defensive stats drop from 130 to 20. It goes from tanking hits to getting knocked out by a slight breeze. The 25% HP threshold is brutal. Unlike something like 50%, which gives you some room to work with, 25% means Wishiwashi is always one good hit away from becoming useless. You can't really tank hits because you're constantly worried about dropping below the threshold. But you also can't go full offense because Wishiwashi speed is only 30 even in school form. What makes this worse is that there's no way to get school form back once you lose it. No items, no moves, nothing. Once Wishiwashi goes solo, it stays solo until it faints. It's basically a Pokemon that's only good when it's healthy, which defeats the entire purpose of having high defensive stats. 5. Guzzlord. Guzzlord is an Ultra Beast with the highest HP stat in the game at 223. When you see that massive health bar, you think this thing's gonna be impossible to take down. It's got a solid 101 attack and special attack too. Plus, it's a freaking Ultra Beast. These things are supposed to be broken by design. But then you look closer. Guzzlord's defenses are terrible, 53 defense and 53 special defense. That massive HP pool means nothing when you're taking double damage from everything. It's like having $1 million but everything costs twice as much. You're not actually rich, you just have bigger numbers. The real killer though is Guzzlord's typing, Dark Dragon. That gives it a 4x weakness to Fairy, which happens to be everywhere in competitive play. One Moonblast or play rough, and Guzzlord's massive HP bar disappears faster than you can blink. It's also weak to Fighting, Bug, Ice, and Dragon, all common attacking types. Even worse, Guzzlord is painfully slow at 43 speed. So not only does it take massive damage from everything, it also has to sit there and take hits before it can move. By the time Guzzlord gets a turn, it's usually already in the red or straight up knocked out. All that HP just makes it a bigger punching bag. 6. Rampardos. Rampardos has the highest attack stat of any non-legendary Pokemon at 165. Let that sink in. This prehistoric headbutter hits harder than Groudon, Rayquaza, or basically anything else you can think of. With moves like Head Smash and Earthquake, it should be demolishing everything in its path. But Rampardos might have the worst defensive stats of any fully evolved Pokemon. We're talking 97 HP, 60 defense, and 50 special defense. It's slower than most walls at 58 speed. This thing makes Shuckle look fast. And unlike Shuckle, which at least has insane defenses, Rampardos dies to basically everything. The combination of terrible speed and paper-thin defenses means Rampardos rarely gets to use that massive attack stat. It'll get outsped and knocked out by pretty much anything with a decent special attack. Even resisted hits do serious damage. Priority moves like Aqua Jet or Mach Punch can finish it off before it moves. What's really tragic is that Rampardos' signature move, Head Smash, has massive recoil. So even when it does get to attack, it's basically knocking itself out. It's like having a bazooka made of glass, theoretically powerful, but it'll probably break before you can use it. 7. Shedinja. Shedinja is probably the weirdest Pokemon ever made. Its ability, Wonder Guard, makes it immune to any move that isn't super effective. That means, out of all the moves in the game, only 5 types can even touch it. Sounds completely broken, right? Well, here's the thing, Shedinja has exactly 1 HP. Not base 1 HP that can increase with levels, just 1 HP forever. Any hit that connects is an instant knockout. Sandstorm, dead. Poison, dead. Burn, dead. Stealth Rock, super dead. Even Struggle knocks it out. The list of things that can kill Shedinja is honestly ridiculous. Entry hazards, weather, status conditions, leech seed, confusion damage, rough skin, rocky helmet, basically any passive damage ends it immediately. And since everyone knows Shedinja only has 1 HP, they'll always have something to deal with it. Using Shedinja successfully requires you to basically predict everything perfectly. You need to know every move your opponent has, clear all hazards, prevent all status conditions, and pray they don't have any coverage moves. One mistake and it's over. It's less of a Pokemon and more of a gimmick that occasionally steals wins against unprepared players.